morning to Global Morning Crew, and good morning to you, my viewers. I am Ogotkumobnora. Today we'll be looking at what's buzzing on the internet. Actress Monalisa Chinda has lament on high cost of electricity bills and also water bill. Actress Monalisa Chinda questions high electricity and water bill in Nigeria. The Nollywood star Monalisa Chinda has taken to Instagram to share her frustration over the high cost of basic amenities in Nigeria. Posting a photo of herself, the actress lamented how something as natural as light and water, which God freely provided, has now become unbearable expensive for its citizens. She also added and said, Lord, the light, which is electricity, in quotes, and water that you created, you gave to us freely, they are down here, charging us crazily for it. I mean, beyond crazy, she wrote. Monalisa then expressed concerns for Nigerians living below the poverty line, wondering how they are coping in the current situation. I must tell you that Nigerians are finding it very, very hard to cope in this current situation, especially those in Band A. I understand that the Band A were supposed to have lights, I think, at maximum 20 hours a day, but even some Band A's still complain, and again, the high cost of electricity bill, including water bill. Well, we're going straight to comments on social media to hear your thoughts, and the first comment here is coming from George Shamuli. And George Shamuli says, it's happening everywhere. Price of electric and gas are going through the roof. The next person is coming from, the next comment is coming from Dusky Dims, and Dusky Dims says, but do people pay water bills in Nigeria? Okay. Where in the world, or where in the country is this person? And the last but not the least comment says, yes, water is free from the sky, but it has to be channeled to houses with modern infrastructure and clean water safety. So it comes out the tap, safe for drinking. All that costs money, but what kind of salary are the CEOs of these companies earning? That is a big question. What, the money that they are earning compared to what the service they are giving, rendering to, the common man out there. And for the person who asked, is there a water bill in this country? I remember growing up, we used to have water board. When you pass through street, you see tap, and you can just open and drink fresh, clean water. But honestly, to be very honest with you, recent times I've not really seen taps on the streets, like taking clean water from the street and going away. And I think, and now it's time to ask, are these water boards really, are they still in place? Are they still working? I know some places in Abuja right now kind of have water board. They have their water supplied through water board, while others have really taken, the borehole thing has taken over so many persons because of the cost of this water board. Well, we'll be going right into the studio right now to ask some of us what we think about this discussion, and I must tell you, somebody's here right now to talk about this, and we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll definitely be discussing about this. Please stay with us. All right, welcome back. I have Uyu with me here in the studio, and Uyu, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Ogochukwu. Well, I tried to not say a word the whole time you were talking about the water rate thing. Somebody asking if we still pay for water in Nigeria. I think your response to that was quite apt, which is the fact. Water is free, naturally speaking. But then again, somebody has to put the infrastructure in place, and then processing has to be done off the water, and apparently it gets channeled to homes for people to be able to access what we call potable water. So for that service you have to pay. But that also raises the question of how diligent, how committed have we been in terms of paying for water? People still struggle to pay for lights, electricity, energy. So water is what people hardly even pay for. Some persons have not paid for water in 5 years. The facts are out there. But again, it has to do with the culture. It has to do with the fact that there needs to be a shift in the way we think about these things. And then that brings us to Monalisa Chinda's point of how things have become so expensive and things like that. Of course, right from the day the first subsidy payment was suspended, or some people say removed. We see how the prices of essentials have jumped right through the roof. And you can't take away water, of course you can't take away light. Everywhere in the world, I mean practically in every country, every city across the globe, energy is expensive, all right? You can't take that away too. But the question is, do you get commensurate value considering the money that you pay for it? I guess that's the standpoint that she's maintaining.
Very well. Well, I'm going to deviate a bit from electricity tariff and also water bill, and I'm going to go into other tariffs. You know, we right now, I recall yesterday I was trying to use the ATM, and only for me to find out, it's been a long time I used the ATM actually going to the bank, only for me to find out that the bank charge is 107 naira to withdraw 10,000 naira. And right now, I asked myself a question, and you know, it's only the only thing you are supposed to withdraw at that time is supposed to dispense just 10,000 naira per withdrawal. You can't do more than that, except you keep doing 10,000 naira. And just imagine if I was supposed to withdraw 50,000 naira and I go 10,000 naira 5 times, and I'm being like, the charge is 107 naira times 5.
Right.
I'm asking myself, is it okay? I asked the security man first of all. I said, when did this whole thing start? Because I really can't remember the last time I used the ATM. And he said that's CBN charge. And again, he also enlightened me that if you have to do transfer via your bank app or USD, you will be charged an amount, which I know of that. I think it used to be 75, 78 naira. I don't know if it's even more than that because I don't take a note. And again, the receiver is also going to be charged an amount. Then again, I recall that if you're even trying to use your USD, you'll be charged 6 naira before you start. This is away from the other charges, and it's really becoming too much. Are they trying to, is CBN trying to discourage people from using the internet, or are they trying to discourage us from using ATM machines?
All right, Ogochukwu, let's break this down real quick as much as time allows. First of all, we're seeing a bit of radical innovations, if you like, being introduced into these services. Let's begin with the USSD service that you talked about, the unstructured service, as they call it. So you want to use your USSD now. They charge you 6 naira 98 kobo. That's approximately 7 naira. So now my concern, which I'm sure, very sure that is the concern of many Nigerians who use that same service, is whether the service eventually goes through or not. In other words, whether that transaction succeeds or is successful or not, that money has been charged. Definitely. Now, there's a bit of history to that. Before now, it was your bank, all right, that would collect, or I mean, your banks will collect the money, all right, on behalf of the telecoms operators. In other words, banks will collect the money on behalf of these service providers, the telecoms guys. But then we had an issue where the telecoms guys now complained that the banks were not remitting to them, running into several billions. As a matter of fact, the records are there. The NCC, that's the Nigerian Communications Commission, had to wade in at a point to intervene in this matter. Long and short of the story, it was now resolved that the telecom service providers themselves, we collect their money from your balance. That is from your airtime balance. No longer the banks becoming the intermediary collecting these monies on behalf of the telecom service provider. So that's the reason you see that when you use star blah 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 hash, the first thing is they collect your 6 naira 98 kobo. So whether the service now fails going forward or not, it's a different kettle of fish altogether. That's number one. Then number two, like you said, when you go to your ATM terminal now to use your debit card, for example, you're charged the standard fee for using that service, especially if the ATM terminal is not of your own bank. Yes. And then there is now VAT, the value added tax, on it. I'm sure that's what the security man at your point of transaction was trying to explain to you. So it's quite a complicated process. And like Ogochukwu mentioned, at the end of the other person to whom you're sending that money, there's also a charge again that is debited from whatever you're sent to them. So in the end, it is more of confusion for the, if you like, the person who uses the service, as it is, as it's supposed to be, if you like, a blessing to them. So long and short of the story is we need to take a second look at this. CBN will have to do more of enlightenment for members of the public who use the service. Otherwise, it's just going to be natural that people will begin to see that they are being ripped off.
All right, thank you so much, Uyu, for your contribution to today's episode of Social Buzz. And you've heard from the public, and also you've heard from Mr. Uyu in the studio. And I know you have your own comment. Please drop it using the social media handles you're seeing right here on your screen and be part of this conversation. I am Ogochukwu Mobno. Do stay with us as Global Morning continues.